Hello and welcome to this installment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at the cockpit carpet set for the Austin Healey BN4 as well as some of the early 3000 BT7 models. Now that comes with a rather large caveat as this is actually a combination kit. It mixes both the side change and the centre change carpet sets, and the reason we've done this is because a very popular aftermarket change is obviously updating the gearbox in the cars, and there is a moulded gearbox cover kit that actually goes in the car that allows that change, and it changes the position of where the gear lever comes out from the sort of side shift element which was original to the car to the center shift version. So just to reference this in a book, this is the sort of original spec here where you can see the gear lever comes out the sort of lopsided towards the left side of it there, and then the later cars they moved it to the center shift. This is out of BJ8, but the concept's exactly the same, and so the gear stick literally came right out the middle of the gearbox. And so like I say, there are aftermarket kits that allow you to make that update and change to your gearbox setup, and what we now offer is a carpet set that allows for that if you happen to have the, should we say, the original spec side change gearbox. So obviously all the BN4s originally left with a side change gearbox, and then the early versions of the BT7s left with a side change gearbox there before shifting to the center change. So if you have one of those cars which originally was side shift and you are planning on updating the gearbox and you are buying that aftermarket kit, then we can do a carpet set that suits that. And like I say, it is literally a mixture of two carpet sets. The main pieces that change are obviously the gearbox and clutch housing elements there, the firewall elements there, and the toe boards there, and I believe the front floors as well, to allow for the change in the gearbox sort of cover, cutaways, etc. So let's dive on in. We sell it as a kit, obviously, all of these pieces here. It's edged. We say to original spec, but that's actually a bit misleading because original specification, a lot of the Healey cars did not actually leave with edging. So we use edging as a sort of common sense element of things. Basically, any sort of bits that are on show in the car, we edge. Any pieces that aren't, either they're tucked underneath an adjacent bound edge or they're tucked underneath an adjacent panel, etc. Good example of that is the front floors and rear floor carpets. They're edged all the way around. But say the left and right edges of the gearbox tunnel, they are not edged because they tuck underneath the adjacent front and rear floors. Same concept with the sills, they tuck underneath. And then even down to these toe board firewall carpets here, they're edged all the way around apart from on the sort of bottom edge where they sit vertical, because that kisses up to the front edge of the front floor carpets there. So it's sort of done by design with common sense. So like I say, originally from the factory, a lot of the carpets didn't actually have much edging on them at all, but that was almost certainly a sort of cost saving exercise / they weren't able to make carpets nearly as consistently as we can these days with all the CNC CAD cut machines that we have. The edging itself has been done in Leathercloth, which is original for the era. We do not edge our carpets in vinyl like quite a few other companies out there. Do check out our handbook blog post and video on the pros and cons, or rather pros of Leathercloth and cons of vinyl in terms of edging of carpets. Vinyl is used elsewhere in the car. It's not a diss on the material whatsoever. It's just the suitability for edging carpets is not there. So we use Leathercloth as per original specification, and it comes out absolutely beautifully going around the corners. Very nice, neat, tucked finish. The carpet itself has been done in Karvel. Karvel is a ribbed carpet, so you can see this sort of rib pattern going from left to right on it, and it has a Hessian backing on it. It's original for a lot of Healeys. When it comes to carpet materials, we can offer nylon, Karvel, or wool. Wool is by far and away the most premium. Karvel's obviously original for a lot of the cars, so it's a very popular option. So most of our customers are debating whether to go with Karvel or wool. Most people end up going with wool just because it is superior in quality, look, durability and finish. But this one's been done in red Karvel, sort of originality. And like I say, it's been edged, and we have used cherry red to edge the carpets, as that ties in with the rest of the customer's kit, which is cherry red. Obviously for Leathercloth edgings and things like that, we always recommend that you try and tie it in with your main trim colour, assuming they're roughly the same sort of shading. So when it comes to red, we actually have 4 different shades of red that we could edge the carpets in, dependent on which way you're going with it. But yeah, let's start at the front of the car. And like I said, I'm going to have to dip in between 2 different photos because obviously the cars, the spec of the carpets are different. So let's start with this here. This is obviously the passenger side under dash parcel tray. Just about make it out there. So we just supply the carpet as part of the carpet set kit there, so that everything matches up. The actual vinyl sewn piece that goes around is either included in our trim panel kit, or we do sell it as a separate item, but we always like to include the carpet so that everything ties in and matches fluidly through the car. So you get one of those pieces edged all the way around. You then get these pieces here, which they go right underneath the dash. Now they are part of the centre change version of the kit. Kind of see them, they go up on the vertical like that and sort of bend round up on the vertical, so you get a pair of those, no edging on them whatsoever. Then you get the toe board firewall carpets, obviously go up in the car like that. They again are the centre change versions, I believe. Cutaways there obviously for where the sill interacts there. Then if we start going down the centre of the car with the gearbox element of things, so you have this kind of clutch housing and then the main gearbox cover. Now obviously this is a centre change version, but it is worth noting originally from the factory the centre change cars did have one piece massive gearboxing, so effectively imagine those pieces joined together. We have for years supplied them in 2 pieces for 2 reasons. One, they fit slightly better. They're an awkward carpet to fit these anyway. It's just unfortunately a fault of the original design element of things, and there's only so much you can do to improve that element of things. But certainly the one-piece version, the original version, there's so much more you have to do to try and get it to look good when fitting it. So we designed this years ago, where we basically split the carpet into 2, and it does make it easier to trim and neater to trim, but also it gives you the luxury of being able to access the gearbox a lot easier, because you only have to move one of the carpets out of the way to gain access to the gearbox. So that is the design that we do. We can obviously offer the one-piece version, so do let us know if you want that, but by default, if you're ordering a carpet set off the carpet set from us that incorporates the centre change gearbox, we'd always do it in 2 pieces unless you explicitly tell us to do it otherwise. So this is the sort of front piece here. This goes over the front gearbox area, the sort of clutch housing, and it's bound all the way around. It has some darts sewn into it that help create the shape over certain areas, and then that section there that sort of lumps up, obviously it folds around, and then you have the semicircle here, which obviously ends up overlapping to here, which is where the gear lever comes out of it there. Then obviously you have the main section here for the actual gearbox element of things, effectively underneath here. Cutaway obviously for where the gear stick comes out, and then this one here is for where the handbrake is located in the car. And we supply loose vinyl to retrim the bodywork underneath where that handbrake sits effectively. You also get a loose piece of vinyl which is used to retrim the black dome surround of the actual gear stick if you want to trim it in the same matching material. Some people do, some people don't. So we just oversupply and allow people to make the choice at their end during the fitment process. Moving to the outside of the car, let's go down the sill element. So you get a pair of sill carpets, pre-cut obviously, no edging on them. They're made slightly wider than they need to be, so it allows you to tuck the carpets down the sill and underneath the front and rear floor carpets. You then get the front floor carpets. Now the front floors on this specific one have been designed, are rather from the centre change one, because obviously the shape of the gearbox changes the shape of the front floors. So you get a pair of those. They are edged all the way around, and they come as standard with the rubber heel pad with Austin written in them. Now again, heel pads from the factory, bit of a subject of debate. That was the design of them, but sometimes they only left with one on the driver's side and nothing on the passenger side. As standard, we put them on both sides unless you tell us otherwise. So again, do let us know. Rear floor carpets, we're now in the realm of the side change style carpet set. So you get a pair of rear floors and they have the slots cut in them on this version of the carpet set for the seat runners. So that's a pair of the rear floors, obviously edged all the way around, Hessian backing on it for the Karvel. And then towards the back of the car here, you had effectively the rear shelf and lower bulkhead area. So the lower bulkhead went on the vertical and then semi-bent round. It's effectively coming up this angle here. So this is obviously for the gearbox tunnel going down there. And then these cutaways here are obviously where the rear seats elements sit in place there. So that's effectively the vertical, and then it bent slightly, and then this is the main sort of shelf area where the rear seat pans sit in. So you get those, they are not edged, those pieces. And then you get a pair of the sort of wheel arch carpets. Now again, a bit of a subject to debate. Some of the cars left with vinyl sewn covers for that area, which obviously we don't include in the carpet set, but we do supply the carpet versions as standard in the carpet set, and it's completely up to you whether you use the vinyl versions if they are original for your car, or whether you trim the carpet versions to the car there. So that is effectively the carpet set. Like I say, it's a bit of a unique one, but becoming quite popular because obviously people like to update their gearboxes in these old cars. And so this is obviously our offerings for those people that have updated that element of things in their cars and want to sort of have the carpet set best fitting. So hope you found that useful. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Of course, check out other videos linked at the end of this video and all the other videos on our YouTube channel. If you happen to be doing a Austin Healey restoration, we'd love to hear from you. And please remember to tune in next time. I'll see you then.